Hello there, Mark here. Now then, this is getting interesting because you've probably heard me talk of the bog woppets. Well, this particular bog woppet here has stolen Andgora Snigwig's shoes, which wouldn't normally be a concern. Not big news, shoes being stolen. But the problem we have is the pollution level, because it is well known to those that know that Angora's feet are so smelly. They're the smelliest feet that have ever existed. And they're on the loose because somebody has stolen the shoes that were made to keep this from happening. And yesterday we didn't know who had taken them. But today we do. It is just now the small matter of catching said Bob Woppet. Now then, this particular bog woppet goes by the name of Bog Farter Bum Dribble. Now, he is pretty much an outcast by his own people, the bog woppets, for various crimes, chiefly stealing smelly shoes. And no village wants to be full up with smelly shoes. Well, I don't know of any. You might know of some, but that's entirely up to you. Now then, these bog woppets are very, what can I say, tribal. They live amongst themselves. They don't like strangers. They don't like other people. We did have one or two try and move in for a while recently, and we had to get rid of them. Well, not get rid of them, we had to persuade them to leave, because we can't have these crazy bog woppets. But they're terrible know-it-alls to start with. And they will insist, when they read a newspaper, of reading the story out loud. And, I think to myself, well, I'm going to read the newspaper myself in a minute. So I don't need you to tell me the story. Anyway, I didn't know this until it happened. But trolls and goblins like to read their newspapers in peace as well. Oh yes, goblins read newspapers. I mean, you didn't know that, well, you do now. Now, this fella, you wouldn't think, with the size of this nose, that he would particularly want to go anywhere near a smelly shoe. Well, I wouldn't have thought so. But that's where I'm wrong. But like I said, he's an outcast and lives alone. And I actually sympathise, or not sympathise is wrong, and I feel sorry for the chap. Because I don't like anybody to be on their own. And it's not really his fault that he has this weakness for smelly shoes, particularly those of the witchy variety. But I'm not really sure what the reason behind the recent theft was. It has to be said. Now, I don't know if you can see this boggle bit. They're quite unusual because they have ears, rather like bats, or you could say pigs even, in a narrow sense of the word. And they like their scarves, but they like their narrow scarves that flow down. And invariably, the end of these scarves are covered in gravy. Now, this is because when they have their dinners, they don't tend to use bibs very often, or I should say serviettes, but bibs is probably what they need. I myself prefer the pelican bib. Yes, indeed, because then, especially with soup, oh yes, indeedy. Oh yes, indeedy. How are we doing with that? Not too bad, I don't think. Because they do like their coats tapered down to a tail. Now, I don't know if this is for any particular reason, or it's just a fashion that they like. Because they are quite fashionable creatures. Oh yes, you go to London, Paris, or such London weekend with the old-fashioned lot. You watch the audience full of bog whoppets. Yeah, well that's because you've never looked for one. You, next time you watch it, you go along, if you get the chance, and you have a look. Place is full of them. In fact, some of the world's top designers are bog whoppets. If only truth be known. I know. I didn't know. I was told. Okie dokie, there we go. Now then, these bog whoppets have got quite big round bellies. No, it's not to balance their telly. They have big bellies because they do rather like a drop of beer. No, it's not the sort of beer we drink. Oh, goodness me, no. No. I'll tell you something, there's only one thing a bog whoppet dislikes, more than a goblin, and that's a human peeps. Human peeps. They do not like human peeps, as they call us. No. Well, we damaged everything, you see. They lived quite happily for many years. We came along, messing everything up for them, we have. I know. We pollute the rivers with the wrong kind of pollution. They don't like that. They get very grumpy about that. We build houses everywhere, regardless of who was there before. We just don't care. So they don't actually hold us in very high regard at all. And as for what's happening at the moment, they really don't care, which I find a little bit disturbing. And I dose just the things on. Now, like I said, I met one or two recently, and the ones I met, I must admit, the jury's still out really on what I think about them, really, how I feel, because they're very opinionated, and they always think they're right. Yeah, I know, we all know people like that. What do you mean? Well, that's not very nice, is it? Well, I'm not going to have a conversation with you because everybody can't hear it but me, so that's not going to happen. Yes, that's the voices in my head talking again. They get carried away, you see. They were actually singing the hits of Sammy Davis Jr. earlier on, which actually, for a change, was okay, because I quite like Sammy Davis Jr. songs. I prefer, actually, when Sammy Davis is singing them, if I'm absolutely honest. Well, if you don't know who these people are, you'll just have to look them up, won't you? That's what Google's for. It's got no other purpose. Just to look things up. So there we have it. Now then, this pretty much is what the old bog whoppets look like. Well, this one does anyway. And like I said, his name is Bogfarter Bumdribble. Sorry, I had to write it down, I couldn't remember. That's terrible. Well, what you've got to bear in mind, I've only just made that name up. And I know I do that all the time. Yesterday it was Andgora Snigwig with her smelly shoes, which this chap actually has stolen. I don't think he's realised quite the can of worms he stirred up here, really, because when the other witches find out, they're not going to be very happy. Well, they won't be very happy that somebody's attacked a fellow witch. That's to start with. Well, I know he didn't actually attack her. It wasn't an armed robbery. But he did, nevertheless, break into her house. I can't understand that either. You think a witch would have better security, but there we are. That's a story for another day, isn't it? That's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. I'm not going to talk about that today. The ins and outs of why witches don't have good security systems. Because the said witch, Andgora, actually lives with an owl. And you'd have thought he would have picked up on it, but no, he didn't notice anything going on. But having said that, between you and me, he might even be behind this. because it is a well-known fact to those that know. Well, it is that owls do not like smelly feet. And I hear you cry, how do you know that? Well, I'll tell you exactly how I know that. I was told. No, not that toad. I was told. Somebody told me. Now, I don't repeat gossip, so you're going to have to listen very, very carefully the first time. Now then, I was told by Genghis, who is Merlin's companion, partner in crime if you want, who lives with Merlin in my attic. Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, yes, and he claims to be that Merlin. Well, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, the trouble with these magical beings that crop up from time to time, to me, they're all fairy tale characters. Or they were when I was a child. Well, not all fairy tales, but I mean, some is, Merlin, I suppose you could. Well, no. Could you? I don't know. Probably not. Now, I don't know if you've noticed here, but this Bogwhoppet's shoes are very, 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 very similar to the ones he stole from Andgora. Snigwig. Now then, the reason for that is it's usually known by those that know, and I'm one of those that knows, that, yes, of course, my dear thing. That'll be fine. Yes, go ahead. Sorry, yes. Edith wanted to know if she could open another bottle of gin. I don't mind. You go ahead. Yes, 2 bottles of gin will be fine. You do it. Looks like the girls are going to have a night in tonight. Edith for the chickens. It's their turn to choose what they watch on Netflix. And I reckon they're going to go for The Crown. I don't know about you guys, but I think so. Now that could cause a bit of unrest, because I'm not sure they goblins and they gonks are going to want to sit through a box set called The Crown. But there we are. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But this is basically what we call a Bogwhoppet. Now, I haven't done his hands in yet, which I will do. And then there we are. I think that's about it for this shoes. And I think it's about it for this particular video. So there you are. That actually is a Bogwhoppet. And his name is Bogfarter Bumdribble. That's right, Bogfarter Bumdribble. Now remember that, because you might want to tell your friends. And he stole Andgora Snigwig's Smelly shoes. Now, I hope you enjoy these little drawings. If you do, subscribe. And I'll talk to you again, hopefully. And see you soon. Bye-bye.